Just a minute. All right. Tyler's okay. I'm all right. Now I'm going to think about that song by Kenny Loggins from Caddyshack, The Little Gopher Dancing. And so, all right. Well, everyone should be better than good. We made it through the halfway point, okay? Midterm. And so, hold on 1 second here. Okay, I had to tell my devices to turn lights off behind me. I was getting a glare. So you made it through the halfway point. Now, some people may not be the happiest with where they finished week two, but some things have happened. Okay, now that week two's finished, week one is done. Raphael. So I love it. Uh, so week one is done. Okay, week one assignments will not be coming back. You can't request those this week, and you can't request them in the final week if you need to pick up more points. Okay, there's no bonus points. Okay, that's reality. It's kind of like, hey, I didn't like the work you gave me. Give me different work. That's not the way jobs work. Okay, so. That's why there's no bonus points in here. Everybody has to do the same thing. Everybody is given the same thing. So that's the way that works. So that's one of the things. But, there are realities. Life does happen and things get in the way. So just like the week before, we evaluate ourselves for the week prior. So we are in week three. So in week three, you'll see there is an assignment in the module. It says it is a self-evaluation for week two. You always evaluate the week that you just completed. So in week three, you do week two. So if you need to have something extended, that's where the request is down at the bottom of that. That assignment, though, is for everybody because on Mondays we have attendance. That's a way for you to get an attendance in. Boom, 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 boom. And at the same time, you go back and look at those grades. Okay. There's a reason for it. People don't pay attention where they're at. Am I right? You don't always pay attention. That's why people walk into signs, they walk into posts, they trip over things. We don't pay attention to where we are. This is how you pay attention to where you are in the class. Some people don't realize we are in week three. They think we got like 5 weeks to go, and it's only a 4-week class. All right. So do that assignment, put those requests in if you need them, because this week things are going to be a change in. Okay. We are in week three. So what does that mean? Next week, the class ends. How many people are excited for that? Yes, you should be excited for that. The class will be over next week. But here's the deal. The class ends next Thursday, not this Thursday, next Thursday at 10 o'clock. So that means a couple of things. Number one, Friday of this week, your final week assignments open early. Does everybody get that? If you stay caught up, you can start working on those final week starting Friday morning, actually right after midnight. Everybody got that? Yes, yes. Show of signs, emojis. You can start work early. You can actually finish early. Okay? Because what happens after this class? Spring break. Yeah, everybody excited for spring break? Whoop, whoop. You can start it on Friday right after minute, Raphael. Yeah, spring break. Uh-huh. And so everybody got their bail money saved. I know I do. All right. And I ain't sharing it. Nope, nope, nope. All right. So that's one of the things. The other thing, this is the last full weekend. So if you're used to catching everything up on Sunday, this is the last weekend you can do that. You're not going to have that buffer that final week. Okay. Thursday at 10 o'clock, not midnight, 10 o'clock. What's going to happen on that week is the class itself will lock, not the assignments. You can't say, hey, can I have an extension? No, there are no extensions. When that 10 o'clock hits on that last day, everybody will be booted out of the class. If you are in the class, you will be booted out and you won't be able to get back into those assignments. If you're in the middle of that final exam, if you're in the middle of this, boom, you are out, kicked out. Okay. And that goes for all online classes. I can't get you back in the class. That is a system thing. I can't let you back in. I can't get you back in. So there will not be an extension. You won't be able to email or text me a late assignment. So I'm telling you this now so you can plan your time because it never fails. I had to work a double. I didn't realize the class ended at 10, not 12. So you're going to see that's coming up on text messages and emails because I document, 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 document. Okay. And my texting software keeps track of everybody who gets a text and everybody who opens those texts. Yeah, there's rebound messages that come back. Okay. Everything's documented, everything has an audit. Okay. So everybody gets those messages. I want you to be prepared. All right. I want y'all to be able to get things done. That's why I got permission to get those open early for you so you have plenty of time to finish those. All right, everybody got that? So we're all going to get caught up, get those things done. We know how to get those extensions in if we need them. Okay. Now, something that's come up, I've gotten several things. I don't have a computer. I don't have a reliable computer, and I don't have transportation to the campus. There are things I can do, and there are things I can't do. I can't drive you to the campus. I cannot get you transportation to the campus. Okay. From day one, I've emphasized you have to have a PC, a Chromebook, or a computer to do this course, or you have to go to the campus, or you can use a library, you can use Lyft, you can use Uber, you can use buses. Okay. I'm very sympathetic, but there's a limit to what I can do. I can refer you to the campus to see if they have alternatives, okay? So please reach out to the campus if you're having transportation issues or anything of that nature. The campus does provide systems and network connectivity. I cannot do anything beyond that. I can sympathize, okay? You know, not everybody has a machine to use at home. Online means that the course is online, not necessarily at home. Okay. I, I could get you an Alienware PC. Send me your credit card information. And I promise everyone else won't type it in. So just type those little numbers. Don't forget that security code on the back. Okay, Raphael? And don't be cheaping us out with one of those low credit balance ones. We want the good stuff. Okay. Exactly. And so, uh, but I do understand if you don't have one at home, so that's why we do provide those there at the campus. And as far as transportation going back and forth, when the next month comes along, you might be at that campus 4 days a week. You're going to have to figure out that transportation somehow. The other thing is see if any of your classmates are going to the campus. Maybe you can, get a ride with them somehow, share that expense. So, try to see what you can do there. Also, don't forget those libraries close by or other places that may have a system that you can use. All right. So try to come up with something, but don't forget to reach out to the campus. And if you need to know who on your campus might be able to help, send me a message and I can connect you with who might be able to have additional resources that can help y'all. All right. All right. So any questions before we jump into this? Everybody's good? Yes, yes. All right. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get into the middle of this. All right. Kelly, good? That's just a high five. Yes, you're good. do you have a question? You're good. All right, here we go. So we're going to do some sharing here, and we're going to start with this screen here, and I'm going to view it as a student because your screen share or your screen changed just a few minutes ago. I made a modification. Don't forget to check your grades. And when you're checking your grades, if I put a comment, you're going to see that comment in a little bubble over here to the side. You see that down there, see those two little things. And when you click on that, you're going to see a comment over here pop up. Okay, and that's how you see if I've left feedback. Primarily, you're going to see that in the discussions. If you've left one comment in the discussion, I'll say typically, hey, this was a great start. Don't forget to put two more comments in there, and you'll have a 20-point grade in there. But that's not your final grade until at the end of the week. I'll come back through and I'll up those points as you put them in. Now, something I've seen a couple of times this past week, people putting in just another question. Nope, that don't cut it. You actually have to put in your own thoughts, not just another question. Another thing I saw a couple of times, people posting the same comment 3 times. When I check your comments, it highlights just your comments in one screen, so I easily see that the same thing has been put in there 3 times. Don't do that. Just put in your honest comments, okay? Remember, your work is a direct reflection of you. I believe everybody here can do extremely good work and has good ethics at all times. Don't tarnish that image, right? We do good work. We have good work ethics. Keep that, okay? That is what's going to always project you forward and move you forward. And that's what builds your reputation. That's what is going to keep getting you the higher wages. Cutting corners is never going to get you ahead. It's going to actually get your reputation out there, but not in a good way. And your career may seem very, very big, but you would be surprised who knows who and how that's going to shorten your career. All right. I'm speaking from experience here, and I've got a lot of years behind me, and I've seen it happen. So learned from what I've picked up from other people's mistakes. All right. So that's where you check that right there. Click on that. Boom. You can see your see those comments right there. So make sure you check those. So when you go into the modules, this is where you're going to see something different. You're going to see those resources, and then it's going to come right to week 2. Week 1 is gone out of here, okay? That way you don't get confused or think that you might be able to get into that. If you have an extension, you will be able to get into the assignment. Otherwise, if you don't and you try to access it, it will tell you that you can't get into it. See, I don't have the ability to click on it because I don't have an extension, all right? To get that extension complete, this week 2 self-evaluation in here. And when you run this, it'll come up. You say begin. And it wants to know what you got on each assignment. That's what it's asking for. Put your grade in here. Once you put in that grade, if you got 100, put that in. All you need to do is put in the number point, okay? And if you got 100 on that one because you completed it all, and then maybe you didn't get anything on that. Maybe you didn't do chapter 2 and you didn't do chapter 3. Some people didn't. Or you didn't do, whoops, put my 3 in there. And I didn't do the project. And then on here, the number of assignments, well, I kind of thought it was a bit much. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to put in. Uh, the assignments, I struggled a bit. Maybe I put that in. These are your opinions. There's not a right or wrong answer. Outside stress, it was horrible. I had a lot of family interference. That's your choice, okay? Now, the actual assignments, were they confusing? No, I could actually understand the assignments, okay? Was I in the live session? Yes, I did the live session. So I'm just going to check that. Boom. I did not complete them all. Okay, I did complete chapter 1, did not complete chapter 2. So that's false. Did not complete chapter 3, did not complete the quiz, and I did not complete the word project. And then click submit. Okay. Now, the grade that you get on this does not matter. It's going to say 0. That triggers me to have to grade this. Okay. The whole point is that I have the information because every assignment that has to be reopened, I have to open these individually. Everyone you don't do that you request, I have to open it individually. But I need to know which ones need to be opened. So that's why I created this, so that I can make sure that I get them for you. All right. So that's what's done here, and that's why. And then I'm going to go back. And here I'm going to go ahead and go back to my modules here. Oops, I lost my cursor here. Give me 1 second. If it jumps off to a certain screen, I have to quickly do a reset on my mouse here. And so I'm going to go back here to my modules and then our discussion. Okay. Now, discussions work the same every week. 3 full posts. Okay. Right here. If you put 1 in and I come through, I'm going to give you 20 points. If you have 2 posts in when I go through scoring, you're going to get 40 points. Okay. If you have all 3 in when I do my my time through, you have 100 points. I do a final run through Monday morning. That's after everything has closed and locked. So if you see 20 points in there, but you've done those other 2, rest assured, I'm going to come back through and I'm going to score that. But if you're concerned about it, it's okay to send me a text message and say, hey, I put my other posts in. That's fine. I will read that and I will go in and I will grade it. It doesn't mean it's going to be instantaneous. I can only do so many at a time with other things going on, but I'll get in there as quickly as I can to help you, concentrate that. Yes, indeed, I did get that. Okay. So don't ever think that I'm not reading them. It's just I can't always be boom right there instantly to check those. Okay. Because I could be helping other students that are asking the same thing. Okay. Now, we are in, whoops, I went into the wrong module here. I need to be in week 3 here. We're going to be talking about Excel. Now, Excel is kind of one of those strange programs. Uh, people love it, people hate it. People are scared of Excel because all they think of is formulas. Um, any formula in this class, I will give you. You never memorize a formula. I show you how to use it. I explain how it's used, and there's a logic to it. Why we use it. Okay. And that's the purpose of this class. Is to explain the why behind it. Okay. And there is a reason to use them. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. There is a uh, item that I want to pull up here. And so I do need to find it here real quick. I actually forgot to grab it before I opened up the class tonight, and I do apologize because it is something that's really beneficial. And I want to show why we use Excel as part of this. So if I can find it here. And I actually did. Good. So I'm going to bring that up here. And I'm going to just move this off to the side here real quick. All right. So I got that over to the side there. And I'm going to bring the class back over here. Hold on. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Let me go back to sharing my screen here. All right. So one of the things is in each one of these different careers down here is I kind of give you some key uses that you might use in your career. So I want you to think about how you could use it in your career. You don't have to explain for every career, but in your career, how you might use it. Like in welding, you could use it for inventory tracking, job costing, quality logs. Because remember, if your shop is not making money, you're not going to be running a shop very long. So you have to figure out a way to cut cost, etc. HVAC, setting up scheduled maintenances, things like that, energy analysis, estimates, things that will let you know, hey, I need to contact these customers back around this time because they need to have me check their systems, etc. Electrical, using it to calculate loads, project planning, compliance records, all those things. Medical assisting. There are so many things with medical assisting, it's unbelievable. Veterinary assistant, trying to calculate dosage for the same medication. Like I run a rescue, trying to calculate for small mammals versus something large. Like I know people who run an elephant rescue. The same medication can be used in both types of animals, and trying to calculate doses without killing one versus the other. So um, frequently I'll hear, well, that's great, but I'm never going to use it. I will never see this. I work in a hands-on field and I'm never going to use it. How many people have heard that from people who are like, I'm in electrical, I'm never going to use it. I'm in welding, I'm never going to use it. You hear that. I can sit here till I argue till I'm blue in the face. And some people won't believe it. And that's their prerogative. They have the right to be wrong. All right. So let's take a look at welding. Any welders online tonight? Anybody in welding? Because if you're in welding, you know about weld strengths. So these are formulas for calculating weld strength. You can see them for a single butt weld. Insert childish joke there. You can see that it is O times T times L. Okay. O is the tensile strength. T is the thickness of the plate. L is the length of the weld. So if you want to calculate the strength of that weld, you're in electrical, we'll get to you. Uh, that's what you have to calculate. So you'll see here, we got the length of the weld is 80, thickness is 40, tensile strength is 50, and this is what the strength is. Well, if this length here was actually 30 and the thickness was 6 in millimeters, now my calculation has changed, okay? But oh no, that shouldn't have been 30, that should have been 33. And I hit enter, it calculated again. Now, if you're doing this by paper, you're having to recalculate and recalculate, and your chances of mistakes are over and over getting more likely. Okay, now that's a simple calculation. But now if we come down here and you're looking at a double transverse fillet weld, now look at what you got to do. You got to do 1.414 times h, which is the height, times L, which is the length, times O, which is the tensile strength, times T, all tossed in here. All right, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, times T. And you're going to have to calculate that. Somebody comes in and goes, oh no, that wasn't 55, that was 75. So you calculate that. And then they go, oh no, that was 70. So now you calculate that again. You can see where putting this information in is far better than you having to recalculate these same formulas. All right? Trying to see where that benefits the welder. And this is not done in the office. This is done in the weld shop. All right? Okay. So now electrical. We have some electrical people. So with electricity, there's a limit to how much you can put on a board or how much you can put on a circuit. And that's exactly what this does. It's calculating those loads so you can break them up by circuitry or by loads or runs. Because you know the longer the run, the less load you can put on it, right? Tyler knows that. So there's a lot of calculations that go into that. And so you need to know how many you put on here. So this person's telling you what they want. And they're telling you, I want those surface downlights. Okay. Well, how many do you want? Well, in this building, we're going to do 125. And then somebody comes along, nobody's going to be able to see. Make that 500. So you put that in and you notice your total load and your maximum demand load, those are going to be different. Why? Because when you turn them on, you get that boom, that load jumps up. But your max demand load when they're running, it's going to drop down. So as you're going through and they're telling you everything that they want to put in here, you're keying all this in and this is calculating up. Because by the time you're finished doing that walkthrough on this building, they want to know. They want to know right then. They don't want you taking it back and going this times this, write this, carry the one, do this, do this, do this. They want to know the exact numbers. They need to know how many, you know, circuits they're going to need. They need to know how many breakers they're going to have. They need to know how they're going to split this up. You can do that with Excel. And if it doesn't look exactly like this, it's got a front end, but this is what it's doing on the back end. Okay. Now, HVAC. How many of you have ever been presented with a bill of sale that looks sort of like this? You bought something and says estimate on it. It's got a company name, a bill to, a ship to. It's got everything on here. And then it's got a total down here that none of us ever want to pay. How many people have ever bought anything that looks like the bill that you signed? Yeah, we've all had to sign these things. Every one of us. If you bought anything, you've had to buy, and you'll see everything on here. Well, this is Excel too. And if I come in here and I change the number of quantity, if maybe it's a small place and there's 4 of them, it's recalculating, kind of like your GPS, recalculating, right? And if I only need one thermostat and I change that, it's changing the totals down here, okay? And maybe I need the actual AC unit itself. And it's a big one, and it's one. I need it, and it's $15,000. I don't know what the SEER is on it. You can actually do your billing in here. So you can see where it comes in play. Do I have any MAs in here tonight? Any MAs on? Now keep in mind, this is all Excel. You may have seen something like this if you've been in as a patient even to the doctor. You've seen your drug testings and this and that, the types of medications you might be on. And what's going to happen is as they put in your name, your allergies and everything, and they start checking things off, things will change color based on if your weight goes too high or if your limits are too high on this or that. It'll go from green to yellow to red, giving them warnings that you're hitting maximums that you shouldn't be hitting. All of these things are done in Excel. Every career, every hands-on career. Okay. So that's the importance, why we need to be familiar with it. Do we have to be experts in it? Why, of course we do. No. You have to be familiar with it. You have to kind of have a general understanding of it. All right? Everybody got that? We're going to have a general understanding on who and why and what it's for. Okay? And that's where we're headed now. Okay? So I want to show you that the why behind why we're doing what we're going to be doing. Okay? So I want you to think about different ways you would think that a program like this might be able to help in your job and what you would do. Okay? And that's the logic behind the actual discussion this week. So uh, look at that. Okay? Now, if you're kind of wondering where to begin, I'm going to show you how to use a little bit of AI to help y'all out, because I know some of y'all are using AI, and but I want to show you a little bit on how to use that responsibly to help you out. Okay, so the other thing is you're going to have 2 chapters this week, shorter, because people tend to be a little more cautious with Excel, and I want you to take your time with it. Okay. And again, the same rules apply always with the chapters. When you go in there and you are inside the chapters, you're going to click on them. You're going to look for those boxes and work those. Okay. And this line's going to go across as you work, etc. All right. So that's the way the chapters are going to work. They do not run on phones. I still have people trying to do them on phones and then saying, hey, it's not working. And when you tell me it's not working and I look, there's a reason, because you're coming in on a phone. It actually tells me if you're actually on a Samsung phone or if you're on an Apple phone, the release of the software. So please, you're going to just frustrate yourself. It doesn't work. It will try, but it doesn't continue successfully. So please don't cause yourself more frustration. Okay, so you're going to have that, and then you're going to have the quiz. But we're going to concentrate on the project down here, on the Excel project. Okay, now I want you to pay close attention here. Okay, because people will do way more work than they need to if they're not paying attention. Okay, you will do a, a spreadsheet. It will be in Excel. Don't use one that somebody else created or go out looking for a sheet. I'm actually going to provide the sheet for you. Okay? Follow the instructions and you won't have to create your own. I'm giving it to you. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Yes, Raphael, exactly. Trying to do math automatically in Word is a pain. You're better off to actually copy the Excel sheet into Word rather than trying to use that mess they have in there. So please follow what I say and you will have this project done within minutes. Okay? All right. So you must use the formulas. Okay?
1 minute. Play games.
Got a question there? Someone have a question there? All right, so I will show you how to use the formulas and where we're going to use them. Okay, so what you will do is you will find your career here. Every one of these has its own Excel sheet. They're very similar. The difference between them, I'm going to just open one of these here so that you can see what they kind of look like. So they all basically look the same. The difference is the items in the spreadsheet. Obviously, if you're in electrical, you don't need a patient scale if you're an electrician. Okay? So that's basically the difference between the different careers. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that they all have the same format. It's just the items are different. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your career. Since we have somebody in electrical, I'm going to work with that one. You're going to go to the arrow next to it. You're going to click on that, and it's going to download that to your system. I'm going to actually download it to my desktop. I have a folder on there called demo. You can download it anywhere on your system. Okay, your microphone's on, so be careful what you're saying. You got a hot mic. So just know where you're saving it because you're going to need it in a minute. And I'm going to click save, and that's just going to save it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the student portal and click on Microsoft 365. Click sign in. All right. So when we're here, my apps again are down at the very bottom. Yours could be elsewhere on the screen. Find where yours say apps, and I'm going to click on that, and I am looking for Excel. Excel is a green app, and when I click on that, you will see it launch. And then we're going to upload a file. Click on upload a file, and I'm going to go back to my desktop, then demo, that's where I had mine stored, and that spreadsheet that I had downloaded. So wherever you had yours downloaded, that's where you're going, and it is going to, oh, it doesn't like it when I'm as a test student. Give me 1 second to get back out as a test student. We ran into this last time. Okay, let me go back into it and let's see if it's happier now. Back into Excel. Let's try this again. Okay. Let me see if I refresh. It always seems to not like it when I'm doing demos. Okay. Try this. Okay, it's not. Let me try it another way here. Give me 1 second. Yours will open. Mine is because I have multiple personalities on my computer. There we go. Okay. Let me change some views here on my screen here. Okay, so when you open up the file, it's going to look like this on your screen. And I'm going to click a plus down here so I can explain some stuff about Excel. All right. So when you're in Excel, each item here is called a cell. And I'm going to make this screen a little bit bigger for you so you can see better. So this is called a cell, each one of these squares. And we refer to them by their location. So when I click on them, you'll notice it lights up here and it lights up over here on the side, okay? So if I go here, this is called G4. It's always referred to by the top and then the side first. And these are called columns if I go across the letters, and these are called rows if I go click on them on the side. Okay. And so when you refer to a cell, you go column. So this would be F and then row 6. And how I remember it is I remember crow, column and row. That's how I keep those straight. Okay. Okay, Raphael, if you already have Microsoft products, you can use those. You don't have to log into the ones that we have, as long as your licenses are good so that you don't have to pay. We use these so that people don't have to pay for the products, okay? So you're welcome to use your own Microsoft products if you have them. So that's how I remember column and row. And how I remember which ones are columns. Columns are like the big columns on the fronts of houses that we would all like to have. They go up and down. And rows are like rows in fields. They run across. Okay, so that's how those take place there. Okay, so to put information in, you can just type things in, and you can press your tab key to go to the next field, or you can press your return key and it will go down a field, or you can use your arrow keys to move around, or you can just click with your mouse. If I want to get rid of that information, I can click in there and press the delete key and it'll go away. All right. Now, so that allows you to put information in. I can type in a 100 here and press enter, and it's simply 100. But if I go up here and I click currency, now it becomes $100. If I come up here and say it is accounting, and now moves it, and I can make that a negative and type in a negative 100. And you'll see negatives are represented by these parentheses because that's the way accounting represents that. Now, if I just change that back to a number, come up here and say number, it'll just go back to a 100. And if I don't want those zeros there, you can play with moving the decimal points here and take those off. So you can format different ways in here. And if I want to get rid of everything in this column, I can click on the F and press that delete key. Okay. Now, Excel's great at letting you put in information. I can type in a 1 here, come out of it, go back to it, and in that corner, there's a little green square. If I move my cursor over it, my cross goes from a white cross to a black cross. Hold down my left mouse button, pull it, let go. It'll put ones all the way across. But if I have a 1 here and a 2 here, come back and hold down my left mouse button and drag it across both of those. Now go down to the corner, then hold down the left mouse button again and pull it across. It will fill in the series because it knows that there is a difference between 1 between those. So it'll keep that up. But I can also put in, say, maybe a 5 here and an 8 here. Come back, pull it across with that left mouse button, go down to the corner, pull it across, and it will recognize it should go up by 3 each time. Now it could do that going down as well. Pull it down with the left mouse button, pull that corner, and it will do the same. It can also do it going backwards. It doesn't care. Go back to the corner, pull it across, and it will do it that way as well. If I want to clear this entire thing out, I can go to the corner, click, it highlights everything, press that delete key, and it wipes it all out. Now, that doesn't just work for things like that. I could pipe in March, come down to that corner, pull that across, boom, it will fill in the month, and I can pull it either direction. It doesn't care. It also works with days of the week as well. So you can quickly make tables of all kinds, whichever way you want. All right. Now, there's a reason for showing this in case you need to put information in. That's how quickly it can put things in and how versatile it is. But what about math? Okay. So if I put a 1 in here and a 2 in here, and I'm going to put my answer in over here, I need to tell it I need to do math. Now we do it by saying 1 plus 2 equals 3. You kind of do the same with Excel. You start off it equals, okay? You have to tell Excel I'm doing math, and we do that by saying equal. Well, what does it equal? It equals 1. We click, but notice it doesn't put the 1, it puts E4. And then what are we doing with it? We're adding. So you just click or type in the plus. Well, what are we adding? You click with the left mouse there. Notice again, it puts in F4, not the 2. And then you hit return, and it says 3. Well, that's a lot of work for a simple number, right? Well, what if this 2 is now a 5? And I hit enter. It changed the number. Why? Because if I look up here, this is called the formula bar up here, you'll see that that's actually equal to, this here is equal to E4 plus F4. And it actually highlights it when I click up there. Does everybody understand that? Everybody got that concept? It doesn't care what I put in the boxes, it's going to add it. These are just storage containers. Anything I put in that storage container, it's going to add. Okay? So if I get out of that and I change this to a 7 and hit enter, it's 12 because this is just a box and this is just a box. Doesn't matter what I put in here. It's just every time I hit return, it just says add those two boxes in together. Okay? So we're going to add some more. Now, if I want to add all these together in here, I don't want to have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking and saying add, add, add. You can do that, but there's an easier way. And we do that with this area up here where it says formulas. We're going to click on that and see this little funny looking M that got lazy and fell over. I'm going to click on that and look what it did. It just assumed I want to add everything to the left of it. That what you want to add? Yeah, I do. I just hit return. Boom. It did it for me. If you use AutoSum, which is what that is, it assumes you either want to add everything above or to the left of it. Okay? So now, if I click on that, it says add everything from E4 all the way to I4, not the highway. So it's going to add anything in here and throw it in there. Any of these boxes. All right. So if I change this to a 0, it's going to go down. If I went back and made this a 5, it would go up. And if I did this as a 30, it would go up. And if I did this as a 20, it would go up. And this was a 15, it would do this. If I went back and made this an 8. And this is how your inventory works in things. So as people are changing your inventory in stores and in shops and things, this is how your total changes. So if I've just typed in total right there, and these were parts or days or anything, now it starts to make sense. Is everybody kind of getting how that works? As this is going to be kind of the way your project is going to function. All right. Okay. So now let's take a look. You hate math, but it's so much more fun when that math is money math, and that means more ka-ching. All right. And math is in every one of these careers. Every one of them. My brother-in-law is a tool and die maker. Okay. He makes the parts that make the parts. Currently, he has a small shop and he has contracts with Toyota and Honda. He makes the robotic parts that there allows the robots to make the parts to build the Toyotas and Hondas. 10 years of math classes. And his job is all hands-on. He's a tool and die maker. But the calculations to make all the pieces, I would not want to have to do his math. He had to do 5 years of an internship after he had most of his math classes. So these jobs that you're doing, the skills you're doing are incredible. And unfortunately, sometimes people don't see the intense skill, craft, and art behind them. I have family members that are boiler makers. One of my uncles collects steam tractors. If you're used to seeing steam engines on trains, the old steam engines, that chug, 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 chug. Picture these as running as tractors that they used to farm. That's what they build. So these things are incredible skills, but unfortunately we have to do math. So let's get back to our project. So when you have your screen open, you have a quantity and you have a unit price here. We need to know the total cost. So what we do is we need to tell Excel, we need to do some math here. So we're going to do an equal sign and we're going to click on that quantity and we need to know the total cost. So that's going to be quantity times the price. Okay. And how we tell it to multiply is we need that little star, that asterisk symbol, and that's above the 8 on keyboards. If you have a number pad, mine's above the minus sign. And then we're going to click on that unit price and then hit the return key or the enter key, and that's going to tell you how much that cost is. Don't pull the calculator out and just type that in. You will not get a passing grade on this assignment if you just manually calculate and plug those in. Okay, it's not a typing test. Okay, just typing these in, it's not a typing test. Everybody understand that. You cannot just type in the numbers because when I come in and open this up, I'm going to see those formulas up there. If I don't see the formulas, you will not be doing well. All right. Formulas are the point. Exactly. Okay. Now, I'm going to have some good things for you. Now, the discount, you can give these people a discount or not. This is where you can put in a number of your choice. If you want to give them $1, $2, you just type it in, whatever. You can choose to put in a 0 if you want. That's up to you. Now, miscellaneous fees, you can change that or you can leave it. Now, the final cost, you're going to put in an equal sign, and your final cost is going to be click on the total cost. You're going to subtract any discount because everyone knows how discounts work. This is not anything unusual to people. And then, are there any fees? If you pay a fee, they charge you more. So it's a plus. And you click on that fee, and then you hit the return key. And that would be their total cost. They got a dollar discount, and we charged them $2.50 more. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Now, this information on how to calculate these is actually in the assignment. So when you look at the actual project, you will see that in there. So when you go to the project up here, it shows you right here. There's the formulas right there. Okay. So that way you don't have to worry about how do I calculate that. Okay, so everybody sees how to do that? All right. So now I'm going to show you something really nice. Where you have this total cost, I want you to go to that little green spot. Might be hard to see on your screen, but there's a little green corner. Hold down that left mouse button, and I want you to pull it down to the last item, not the total line, just that last item. And boom, look at that. It copied your formula. Okay? It just copied your formula. Now, your discount, if you didn't want to put in a discount, you could go through here and put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm hoping you take a little bit of time, but if you didn't want to put it in, you can do that. Your final cost, we're going to do the same thing. Come to that little corner where that green is, hold down that left mouse button. It's the left one, not the right one. Pull it down, let it go. Just like Elsa said, let it go. Boom. It copied your formula. See, if you didn't pay attention and you're not watching this presentation, you don't know to do that. It just copied that formula. Look at that. Your spreadsheet's almost filled out. Okay. So now what are we going to do? We're going to come here under total cost. Remember that funny little M up there? Click that. And then hit that return key. We're going to come to our discount. Go there. Click that funny M. Hit the return key. Miscellaneous fees, you don't have to, but if you want to, click that funny M, hit the return key. Your final cost, find that funny little M, hit that return key. Boom. That's how you do that assignment. Excel can work for you. You don't have to recalculate things. And then how do you test this? Well, what if I bought, instead of 2 of these, I bought 24 of these. Now watch what's going to happen. My total cost on line 3 is going to change. My final cost is going to change. My total in that bottom corner is all going to change as soon as I hit this return key. Boom. Did you see that? Now, how quickly could you have recalculated all of that? We'll go to the multimeter. We're going to change this to, let's say they bought 250 of those. Now watch those totals change. Boom. I will test. I test every one of these that come in. And I look for these formulas. No formulas. If this is manually calculated, you'll be scoring under 60%. It will be a non-passing score. I give you this entire thing. Typing in numbers, this is not a typing class, okay? It's not a calculator class. There's a reason why I give you all of this, so you don't have to type this in. So you don't have to type in the headings. You don't have to type in anything. You just have to concentrate on those formulas. All right? Everything you turn in, I read all those comments. Your Word projects, I go through and I open every one of them in Word. I look at every one of them. Your work is valuable. Your thoughts are valuable. I check to see if AI was used in them because it tells me a Python code is embedded. Okay. I don't have to say things if I see things sometimes because myself and the person who did them knows what they did, knows if they actually earned that score. Am I right? You know if you truly earned what you did. There's a difference between earning and truly doing your work and your worth. And I trust that you will have that business ethic. You will do that quality work. You are that level of professional. And that professionalism will go with you into the shops, into the labs, into that career that you have chosen. Everything you do will be at that level. And you'll find that doing things at that level gets easier and easier. All right. Any questions on this project? I see Carla's typing. You got it. No cap. Now, how many people use AI? Because I want to show you something in AI here to help you all out. Yeah. So those discussions. It's a big thing to use the AI for the discussions, right? For juice recipes. Yeah. But AI can be something that helps you. So we're going to come back here, even though when we came in and I launched the apps and then it didn't want to talk to me. When you come in here, do y'all see this where it says message copilot? You typically get that when you come in. Okay. So this week's topic is on how can Excel help me in my career, correct? So I could say, give, oh, that helps if I type here, give me some real world examples where Excel is used in a welding, oh, whoops, in an electrical career. Okay, boom. Okay, so it gives you some ideas, right? Everybody sees that? Now, what you don't do is da 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 da, right click, copy, and then boom, paste, right? Because there's some problems with AI. Okay, number one, you need to know what it's saying. You would be surprised how many people paste information from AI and they have no idea what it means. Okay, You have to be the person in the middle because AI works off of information that it has found over time. Okay. So that's one of the things. If you're going to use it, you need to read the information and put it into your own words and thoughts that make sense from your point of view. Because what happens if AI doesn't understand the information that it's putting together? It's grabbing information, but what if it doesn't understand it or it can't find the information? Does anybody know what we call that? Does anybody know if AI can't find enough information? What does it call that information that it brings in? Yeah, you're going to laugh, but it's true. We call that hallucinating. It hallucinates facts and it backs it up with more hallucinations. So you have to be in control of AI at all times. All right. So don't just put that in there and have it spit information out. You need to take that information, read it, process it, because just like that first week where you said it cannot reason, there are certain things that it cannot do. You have to be the control point. So use it, let it find ideas for you, but you need to management. Now, look right here. It says, I can also create a ready-to-use Excel template for load calculations. Okay, then you can do things like create. I'll just take this part off right there. And boom, it'll go through, it'll code. And then right there, we're going to download this. We'll pop it into this file here. Let's see what it came up with. Okay, and right here, you see it came up with something. And look, there is a formula. You put in here a load, volt per item, the quantity, and it's going to do a calculation there. There's the voltage you put in, and then it's going to do a little calculation. And then you can go from there. You can tell it to make things more complicated. So feel free to use that in there, but always remember to maintain control. Maintain and utilize it like you said in that first week. Someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to use as a coworker. And so, and yes, Carla, using things to make schedules, using things to look things up, find information, and when it finds information, compile it into a list, a bulleted list, things like that. Oh, yes. Isn't it suspicious that they took Skynet out of Universal? Maybe they got all the information they needed after they got all those people to go through there, right? You never know, Raphael. You never know. And now we're doing drone shows, and we think that it's for entertainment. Uh, See, you never know. I have a lot of information that I keep up in my head. Yes, like Pokemon Go. I can't tell you, I hate to say it, but I knew too many people who were not younger folks that were addicted to Pokemon Go. And so I have to say I was one of them. Are there any questions about anything so far in the course or what you need to do, how you need to get things done? Any questions whatsoever? Oh, yes, Tyler, you got a question. Type, 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 type. Because I do want to show you how to save this project. because you cannot submit this as a PDF. It will not allow that. So if you save it as a PDF, I can't check the formulas. Okay, I can show you both of those. So let me share the screen. Okay, and we are going to go over here and we are going to go to the home and take it a second. I am going to view this as a student here. So when you go to your grades, you will see up here in the upper right-hand corner, you will see your total grade percentage. You'll see it right there in that upper right-hand corner where I've got it highlighted in blue. That is your total grade percentage there. So you will see your total grade percentage there, and you can also see it down at the bottom of all your grades right down there. Okay. And if you want to know how that stacks up, if you go to your syllabus tab here, you will see the grade breakdown here. Here is the grading scale. Scroll down and right there. Okay. Anything below a 60 is failing, 60 69D, 70 to 79C, 80 to 89 a B, 90 to 100 is an A. Yes, we do have people who have 100%. Okay. And when we do the final scores, your final scores typically have 2 decimal points, and we do round them. So if you have an 89.5 and above, you will round up to a 90, which would be an A. So if you have a point 0.4 and below, you would stay where you are. But if you have a point 0.5 and above, you will go up. But yes, there are people who have 100%. And so, as a matter of fact, there are quite a few with 100%. There are actually way more people who do extremely well than not well. Typically, if people are not doing well, they just have not turned in assignments. So that does really well. The other thing on when you go to turn in your assignment, what you want to do is when you go to, let me get to the assignment, you will do, whoops, my cursor went off the screen here. Hold on. You will do file, and yours will say, we'll have save as a copy, and then it'll say download a copy because I had to open mine differently, but it'll say download a copy, download it to your machine. And when you do save it, make sure it saves it as a .xls. So if I do a file save as here, you'll see it down here. See this XLS? Do not save it as a PDF. Okay, if you save it as a PDF, you will not be able to upload it into the project. And the reason being is if it's a PDF, you will not have the formulas and that in it. It's no longer an Excel file. All right. So please make sure that you do that. If you have questions about that, let me show you where else you can see how to do that is when you go into your modules. Up at the top, there is this thing up here under the modules where it says help save projects. Right here, there is a PDF here. If you open that, it will show you how to do that. Click File, create a copy, download a copy, boom. So there are PDFs inside the little section there that will show you how to do that. And again, that's under the resources up here on download and saving, submitting projects. All right. Any other questions? Everybody's good? All right. So the class or the assignments will open early on Friday for the final week, and next Monday will be our final live class at 7 p.m. So how will we find out about our next class? You should get an email from the campus, or you can contact your campus registrar. Okay, and they can let you know as well. So you can either go to the campus, you can contact your campus registrar, call them and ask for that, or they will send you an email as well. So that's definitely how you can do it. Just remember at the end of this class, we will have a week break and then we start back the following Monday. All right. And so I want everyone to do a one and done. So everybody, please make sure you get everything finished, complete. That last week especially, don't think my grade is plenty high enough. I don't need to do this. Don't play the numbers game. Y'all have worked hard, so keep it going all the way through, and everybody will be awesome. We'll all have a great time on spring break. Come back, and y'all will most likely, everybody should be in on-campus classes. All right, everybody good? If so, that's it. We will see you Monday for our last live class, and you will see emails and texts from me. All right, have a good one.